Hey you guys, so welcome to my channel. I got the idea to do a cooking channel since a lot of my friends don't know how to cook, and I wanted to show you guys some really simple, cheap recipes. So today we're gonna make some green enchiladas, and then we're gonna put them in the oven and do its thing, and it'll be awesome. So let's start with the ingredients. So the ingredients we're gonna use today is we have some onion here. Onion is extremely cheap. I mean, about this, maybe 20 cents for an onion. And we're gonna use a quarter of an onion for the sauce. And then we're gonna use about a quarter for the chicken that we're gonna cook, okay? And then we have some Anaheim poblano peppers. And we're gonna use these. We're gonna use two. They're about $1.20 a pound. But I mean, for two of these, it's about like 30-40 cents. For these peppers. And then we have some serrano peppers. They're spicier than jalapeno, but they give it a really good taste and a little spice. And then we have some jalapeno peppers. Jalapeno peppers are fairly inexpensive, about 90 cents a pound, and for these, I mean, probably like 10 cents for like two of these. And these are about like 5 cents for one of these. Extremely cheap. So if you're not trying to buy in bulk, definitely go to just somewhere where they sell these like separate, and that you'll be great. Next, we have some tomatillos. Tomatillos are about $1.80 to $1 a pound. We only need about 4 or 5 today for our recipe, so about 25 to 30 cents for these tomatillos. Then we have sour cream over here. This is 98 cents for this little jar thing, whatever it's called. And when it's on sale, I mean, you can probably get it cheaper, but it's about $1. That's fairly inexpensive. And then we have tortillas. Tortillas run anywhere between $2 to $3, depending where you get them from and if they're on sale or whatever. This is a 90 pack. We'll probably use like a third of it today, so they don't go bad. So they can chill in your fridge for like ever. And then we have some cheese. This is about $1.50 for 2 cups of cheese, and that's more than enough that we'll need today. And then we're here with the chicken bouillon, and that comes in this little pack, which is about 80 cents for 8 of them. And they go a long way. This is like my best friend when I'm cooking. Delicious. And then we have some cilantro. Cilantro is anywhere between 30 to 50 cents for a whole little bushel of this. And we'll need about half of it for our sauce. And then also we have some chicken breasts here. This is about $2 a pound. And we're going to use 2 pounds today. So about $4 for this chicken. This chicken goes a long way once it's cooked. And then we also have some avocado. I know avocado is expensive sometimes. This one happened to be about 65 cents today, and that's just for garnishing. And so is this lettuce. I mean, lettuce is about $1 for a head. This is like about a fourth, and that's what we're gonna use to garnish. And then you can also garnish it with a little bit of the sour cream here. So that's our ingredients that we're gonna use. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut up this onion and pieces. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just throwing this in with the chicken so it can flavor it. So I'm just gonna put the onion. This is just regular water. It's about 4 cups of water. And we're gonna throw in the chicken just so that it can start cooking. And this, it's chicken breast, so no bone or anything. Takes about 20 minutes on high for it to cook. So we're gonna go ahead and let it. We'll also need some garlic, so I just have 2 cloves here. And garlic, super inexpensive, about 30 cents for a whole head, which has like 30 little garlics. And then whenever you have garlic, it comes in this like shell thingy. I cut off the ends, and then you take your knife and just like slam it. Oops. And the shell just comes right off, and then you can use it and it's good to go. Okay, so that garlic I squished, I just put it in here with the chicken, and I'm gonna add some of this chicken bouillon. This one comes powdered, so you see it's like powdery. So it kind of works as salt and flavor at the same time. So I'm gonna go ahead and add about a tablespoon in with the chicken and a little bit of salt. So salt, I mean, you know, you can just eyeball it. The peppers. So I like to cut them in half, and these don't have many seeds, but I mean, if you want, you can just take out these seeds. Usually the hotness in a pepper is found in this little vein thingy-mabob. So if you just want to take it out, just, you know, if you can't stand the heat. And I'm just gonna go ahead and cut these up real quick. Okay, so I did the same thing with the jalapenos. These ones do have a lot of seed, and jalapenos tend to be spicy. So just take out these little centers and it won't be spicy. I mean, it's not gonna be like dead, but it won't be super spicy. And then if you're not a fan of spicy, I wouldn't recommend putting in this serrano pepper, since this one's sole purpose is for spice. So if you aren't into spice or don't like your food super hot, then don't put this one in. This one I leave the seeds because I want the heat from this one. So then we have our garlic, and then we have our onion and our tomatillos. And we're gonna get all this and we're gonna put it in the water that we have boiling. Okay, so I'm just gonna throw everything in here and we're gonna let it boil. And then also what I do is I just throw this bouillon in there. Consomate, nor Suiza, whatever you call it. That stuff is delicious. And then also, just if you want, add a little sprig of cilantro just to infuse the flavor in there. So we're gonna let this cook for about 20 minutes. So it'll be done about the same time as the chicken. So we're gonna let it cook, and you know it's ready when the tomatillos start to turn a lighter color, almost translucent. So we'll just let it cook. We're gonna cover it real quick. So I'm gonna cover it and we're gonna let it cook, and then we'll come back. Okay, so I want you to know that cooking is not stressing. I like to watch TV while I wait. Usually you can smell when the food is almost ready, so that's when I get up and check it. If not, I just sit here and watch TV, and you can chill, do your homework, you know, stuff like that. Okay, so our chilies and stuff is done, and you can tell because the tomatillos get really like translucent color, and the sauce gets kind of like opaque like that. I don't know what it's called. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna put some ice in here just so that we can put it in the blender. If not, the blender will explode. So let's go ahead and do that. So I added ice just so that we can put it in the blender and it won't explode. Okay, so we have all the stuff in here, and we're gonna add some cilantro. You want about half of the bushel. So we're gonna add that. So, okay, so now we have 3 tablespoons of sour cream that we're adding. So I separated out some of the liquid from the chilies just so that we can not get it too thin on the consistency. So we're gonna go ahead and blend it. Okay, so I took out some juice from the chicken and we're gonna put that in our sauce just to thin it up a little. The consistency is a little bit more thinner. So make sure it looks this green, just so you know that it's how you want it. So we're gonna go ahead and add this. About a cup of the liquid will go in there. And then we'll run it again for a little bit. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil into our pan, and then once that's heated up a little, Okay, so you know your oil is hot when you can move it around and it flows really easily, okay? So once that's semi-hot, we're gonna pour in our liquid here. And you only want about 1 tablespoon of oil in there. It's kind of just so you can fry up the sauce. And then the sauce will turn a little bit darker, and that's what we want. So we'll let it cook for about 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna make some rice because I love rice, and rice is especially delicious if you use the chicken broth that you cooked your chicken in, obviously. So we're gonna use about a cup of rice, and that will mean we'll need 2 cups of water, or of the broth. Okay, so I'm just gonna fry this up with a little bit of oil, about a tablespoon in there. Okay, so for the sauce for the rice, I'm gonna use about 1/4 of onion and about half a tomato. We're gonna put that here, and then we're gonna add the 2 cups of the chicken broth. And with this one, you have to be careful with the salt since the chicken broth was salted when we were cooking the chicken. So what I recommend is first blending this up and then tasting it to see where it's at. When you do the rice, just remember you don't want it too toasted because then it gets kind of brown and nasty. So just right when it loses its transparency from when it's raw. So it's just like a little bit whiter. And then this one, we just want the rice. We added the onion up here, and we don't use garlic for this type. This is the red rice that people love. So we're gonna add that in there. And remember, we want it to boil up. Once it starts boiling, we turn it down to low just so that we can cover it and let it sit for about 20 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna shred up the chicken now, and this is totally your personal preference about how small or whatever you want your chicken. I like them pretty small just so that the tortilla isn't too bulgy. So when your chicken is all shredded and stuff, you have about 4 cups of chicken here. And what you want to do is you don't want dried chicken in your enchiladas, so you add a dollop of sour cream, and I like to add a little handful of the cheese just to make them creamy. And also by now your sauce should be ready, so let's go over here and we're gonna add some of our sauce in here. Just about half cup, just enough to make the inside of your enchiladas creamy, because if not, then you get dry enchiladas and that's no fun. So let's go ahead and mix this here. Okay, so it's all mixed, and now, I mean, you can tell it's a little bit juicier. So then you fry up your tortillas just like you regularly would. You can go ahead and try it. So it's delicious. Oh. Our sauce is ready. You can tell because, see right here in the pan, it kind of sticks. Also, you can tell how it flows. It falls slowly, so you know it's the right consistency. So that's our enchilada sauce right here. And now we're gonna fry up the tortillas. Okay, so we're gonna get some hot oil, and we're gonna put our tortillas in. About 2 seconds per side. You don't need to do it that long. They get all bubbly. And then that's what you do for all the tortillas, just so that you can roll them. If not, they won't roll. I mean, if you don't want to use oil, you can definitely just heat them up in the microwave. But this gives it that extra taste that you need. And just do that for all the tortillas you're gonna need. Okay, so let that heat up. Rice. Biggest thing about rice is you have to let it do its thing. If you check, see how it's still bubbling and the liquid's still here on top. So you just let it chill, do its thing. When that liquid at the top and the middle is done and it's all dried up, that's how you know it's ready for you to even flip it or look at it, or else it will get really soft and crumbly and nasty, and you don't want that. So now we're gonna assemble them. So what I did here is I just took some of the sauce and poured it at the bottom, just so that your enchiladas aren't dry from the bottom, and then put a little bit of cheese. And all you do, you know, you take your enchilada, a little bit, well, I guess it's not enchilada yet. You take your tortilla and you add chicken, roll that puppy up, and then you start assembling, and you're gonna do this throughout the whole thing. So we rolled them up already. We have 24 enchiladas here, and that's about 8 servings. So we're gonna go ahead and cover it with sauce now, all of it. Once that is all spread out, we're gonna add our cheese on top. More cheese. I love cheese. Love cheese. Okay, so I put cheese on top, and now we're gonna pop it here in the oven over here. And I set it to 400 degrees just because we just want that cheese melted. Okay, so it's been in the oven for about 5 minutes, and you just want it to melt the cheese on top, and then you can serve. It's ready to go. Okay, so we are checking up on our rice here, and it is ready. You see how it doesn't have any more bubbles on top? And if you let it cool and then flake it up, it's better than when it's warm. But I mean, you can do it now, and your rice will just be nice and juicy and delicious. So the easiest way to cut lettuce is to cut it in half and then fold it so it's like this, and then you just cut it this way, and then you'll get nice strips. Okay, so for those that don't know how to cut an avocado, you just cut it the long way like this, and then you just twist it and it'll come apart, and then you can cut your wedges while you're holding it. Okay, and then the last step I like to do, so I added my avocado, and then a little dollop of sour cream because I love sour cream. Okay, you guys, so that is how you make green enchiladas, and it gets really hot because of the oven. My house is really old. So that is it. I mean, if you have any questions or if I didn't clarify something in the video, let me know. You know, first video. Woo. So here you go.